Hi there, I'm Christopher Dunn again. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Twist Basket Mini Pendant. This is the 182320. I actually have one of them here, so we'll have a lot to talk about today. Let's get into the size of the fixture to begin with. Hubbardton says it's like 23 inches high without glass, the body of the fixture. So let's just take a good look at this. So you have the fitter here, you have the socket here, you have the twist basket, which we call the decoration, and then you have the female pipe that's coming out of this. And you remember how Hubbardton Forge's telescoping pipes work. You have the female one, and on this one it's actually upside down. It's kind of backwards, because on this fixture the female pipe's on the bottom, and this pipe is actually coming out of the canopy. But this model is a little backwards. I use it. They're 50-50 as far as like what is on Hubbardton Forge pendants. Sometimes they're on the bottom, sometimes they're on the top. Anyway. So this guy is going to telescope into this guy, so that's how these telescoping rods work. And you notice you have 3 different adjustable ranges to play with, and that's really going to be measured from the bottom of the glass to the ceiling itself, not the canopy, but above the canopy, the actual ceiling. So we'll get into that in just a second, but I want to circle back to this for a second, and I'm going to measure. So if we add this glass, and this is 5.5 inches tall, like 9 3/4 inches in diameter, if you add it to this, right, so now the distance from the bottom of the glass to the top of the decoration, which is here, that's about 16 inches. And I would have pretty much called that the body of the fixture. But you know, I just want to make sure that you guys get a handle on the size of these pieces. So 5.5 inches, and we can even measure this right now and say from the top of the decoration, which is right here, right there, to the bottom of the fitter, you know, we're coming in at 10.5. So now you know the rest of the story, as they used to say. Okay, so let's get into a lot more information on this, and let's go back and look at the installations instructions, because they're going to have some good information for you. If you're on the page for this on our site, Handmade in Vermont, excuse me, look over on the right-hand side of the screen, midway down, you're going to see a link. It's going to say, click here for installations instructions PDF. So click on that for me if you can. You are going to see a lot of good information there. You're going to see that this is going to be using a 5-inch round canopy. That's got a bracket in the back that's going to go over your 4-inch junction box very easily. I talk about this thing called the can converter all the time. If you guys are in a situation where you have recessed hi-hats, recessed lights in the ceiling, there's a company called the Can Converter that can convert those into junction boxes without ripping any of that out. So if you're in that situation and you want to put these things in where you originally had these hi-hats or recessed cans, just check it out, the Can Converter, and I think you'll be surprised at how easy and inexpensive it is. Okay, back to our story again. So 5-inch round canopy going over a 4-inch junction box. We talked about that a second ago. This is slope ceiling adaptable to 45 degrees. There is a knuckle built at the top of this guy, so it's going to allow that to pivot like that. So if you have a slope ceiling, you're going to be fine up to 45 degrees without any problem. So when we add the glass, and this is the, I think it's the 05 glass, or 04, it's one of those two. But anyway, when we add that to the telescoping ranges, because you're going to notice in the pull-down menu it's going to say not including glass. So let's include the glass when we talk about it right now. So remember, these are going to be telescoping rods, our friends here, okay? So we have the short is going to be 28 to 35 from the bottom of the glass to the ceiling. Standard is 38 to 44.5, and long is 47.5 to 56.5. If you need shorter than the short, so let's say you wanted to do 3 of these over the kitchen island, and for some reason you also wanted to do a shorter one over the kitchen sink and have it higher above your head, we can do customs, because we know right off the bat that this is 10.5 inches from here to here, and then you got a little bit of glass there, and we could do a canopy someplace in here. So the best way to go about that is for you to email me and say, hey, I'm looking at a 182320 twist basket mini pendant. I would like it to be X, let's say 24 or 22 inches, just as an example, from the bottom of the glass to the ceiling, because I want to use it over the kitchen sink. Good enough. And then just send that to me. I send it over to Hubbardton Forge. They go into a database and talk to an engineer, comes back, and I have a quote for you to send. And that's going to it's going to be a little more time, a little more money, non-returnable, but we do customs all the time, because the beauty of Hubbardton Forge is they're making all this stuff here. So it's great that we can actually customize these things to a point for your needs. So there you go. Let's get into this really quick. So Hubbardton forges opal glass. I'm going to talk about that in detail a little later. You know, when you have incandescent light coming through this glass, it warms it up quite a bit. So you'll notice it looks pretty white in the picture here, but when you see other pictures of it, you'll notice it is a warmer hue, and that's going to be generally that warmer light coming through it. Let's get into what's inside as far as lamping goes. So it's going to be using a Hubbardton Forge porcelain threaded medium base socket, an A26. It's going to be able to take any kind of screw-in bulb. So if you guys want to do a incandescent bulb, you can still do those. They still exist. They're out there. This is a standard A19 size. This is a standard A19 size LED. You'll notice they're basically the same idea. You can find this 60 watt equivalent, 75 watt equivalent. I have found these into 100 watt equivalent when I really did some research online. You can also choose your color temperature. So remember when I talked about the whiter light, cooler light? I talk about it all the time with LEDs. I tend to like this warmer light, this 3000 Kelvin warm white, and that's what's coming down on my hands from the light above me. If you guys like the cooler daylight, that's going to be 4000, 5000 Kelvin. So it's really important when you guys are looking for bulbs to do that. Excuse me. There are also other bulbs out there. This is still an A19 size. This is a phosphorus one. It looks kind of like an Edison. The only thing about this is, you know, you can see those filaments because it's a clear piece of glass. I would suggest kind of going for this LED with this milky glass diffuser. It's going to look fine inside of this. It's going to look like it's almost part of the fixture. Okay? Excuse me. Frog in my throat. Okay. More to talk about. So you're going to notice on the parts list on Hubbardton Forge's installations instructions PDF that they're going to be listing this thing. And this is a retaining ring tool. This is going to take the place of your hands getting into this to put the retaining ring on, because this is kind of narrow at the top. So this is a threaded retaining ring. So one side is flat, one side has notches on it. And remember, our friend over here, the socket is also threaded. So basically, it just kind of goes on like that. And there is a little bit of a play to it, because when things heat up a bit, they tend to expand. So you have to always remember that. So how this works is there is an end on this that's slightly flared, and you kind of just pop it in like that. So this is going to be a proxy for your hand getting into the glass, and you're really just going to be using this like this, putting the glass onto the fixture, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you know, and then you're going to take it out. The retaining ring will be on this, holding it to the fixture. It won't be on here, and you're going to take this and put it into a kitchen drawer and forget about it until you need it someday. You never know. We do sell a lot of these over time. People throw them away for some reason, but just put it in the kitchen drawer and it'll be there when you need it someday down the road. Okay? What else can we talk about on this? So, circling back to LEDs one more time, this is an A19. You might be able to use an A21 in this. You know, let's just try it out, shall we? So, that's how the glass is going to basically work. And if I put an A21 bulb, so an A21 is a slightly larger version of a light bulb. It's bigger than the standard A19 we grew up with, and it actually does fit pretty well in there. I can find that up to 150 watt equivalent if I look real easily. I bought this in my local hardware store, and I think this is 100 watt equivalent. So what I'm driving at is you can get a lot of light out of these if you guys want to. It's a great fixture. So I want to touch on Hubbardton Forge's glass for just a second. Hubbardton Forge's opal glass is not just another piece of white glass. This is actually hand-blown glass. All of their glass is hand-blown. And to begin with, it's actually a clear piece of glass to start with. And then they come in, they blow a second layer on the inside of white glass. Then they come back and they do a third step where they sandblast the entire outside. So you'll notice when you get these in your hands, they actually have layers of glass on them on the ends. You can see them on these two pieces. And it gives it this really soft, semi-transparent, kind of milky quality. It's a soft glowing piece. Really, really pretty. You know, they're really obsessed about details at Hubbardton Forge, and a lot of people don't. I don't think they appreciate it out in the world, but you appreciate it because that's why you guys are here watching this video. There you go. Let's get into metal finishes now. If you're on our website, HandmadeInVermont.com, do me a favor, look over on the left-hand side of the screen. You're going to see a lot of red tabs over there. One is going to be the Finishes Help Guide. When you're done with this video, go over there and open that up for me, and you're going to see a video at the top of that page of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton Forge finishes and how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be referencing a color chart just below the video, so scroll down a little bit, you'll see that chart. You'll notice there are pictures that have the letter A on them. pictures that have the letter B on them, and I'm going to be talking about that range you can see in variance on there in that video. So it's really important to watch the video, use that chart. When you're done with all that, come back down to that chart. You can click on any of those pictures and see a lot more samples of Hubbardton Forge fixtures in that finish. If you want to see a bunch of stuff in dark smoke, click on dark smoke. If you want to see a bunch of stuff in vintage platinum, do the same, and so on and so on and so on. That's a great way for you to see a lot of Hubbardton Forge stuff in different finishes and really take advantage of that, okay? So our showroom in Vermont has over 350 Hubbardton Forge fixtures spread across 2 floors. We have a What's On display page on our website. It's going to be back in the red tabs over there. A lot of good things in that section. Check out. So when you open that up, you'll see it's all divided up into different sections like dining pendants and outdoor lighting. We're always adding to that. This is the biggest showroom in the world of Hubbardton Forge. They don't even have a showroom like this. Nobody does. And they use this as their showroom when you guys come to Vermont to visit us. So lots and lots to see here. You can see all the different glass, all the different finishes, all the different fabrics, all of those things. In addition to that, we have a clearance center. So the clearance center stuff are returns, discontinued things, and showroom samples. That's an amazing deal for you. If you guys want to take advantage of that, you have to come here to Vermont to see us. And when you do me a favor, measure all the kind of things about your project and what you guys are doing. So the most important thing is measure your ceiling heights to begin with. Measure distances between junction boxes and like windows and ceilings and those kind of things. So if you're looking at sconces on the wall, you can see if they're going to fit for you. If you're doing pendants over a kitchen island, measure the distances between those junction boxes. Widths of tables, kitchen tables, dining tables, lengths of tables, islands, all that good stuff. And also do a couple more things. If you guys have some tablets or iPads lying around, take pictures of all these things. Take pictures of the kitchen, take pictures of the projects you're doing. Bring that in so we can kind of go through those pictures together and we'll be able to see what you guys are up to, okay? And also the boxes and clearance stuff, for clearance stuff, are basically packed for shipping. Don't forget, these were supposedly shipped out. So the boxes tend to be on the bigger side, so bring a decent size SUV if you want to take stuff home. It's a really good opportunity for you. When you buy your Hubbardton Forge fixtures from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. There's no tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. We're the only dealer that offers 90-day returns and no restocking fees. That's 3 months after you receive something to send it back, and there's no restocking fee on that. Some larger items and custom things, and it's usually going to be big things on pallets, are going to be non-returnable. It'll always tell you on the page for an item if that is the case, so always keep an eye out for that. And we also offer a rush program. So to get all these different metal finishes, Hubbardton Forge doesn't stock. They generally take about 3 to 4 weeks to get product out. We can cut that time in half, and it's really, really inexpensive. If you want to know more about that, just drop me a quick email and I can clue you in on details, okay? So our showroom in Vermont is open every day except Sunday from 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to drop a quick email, you can do that all the time. And that's going to be at sales@HandmadeInVermont.com, and we spell out the word Vermont. Or you can call me during business hours, 802-446-2400. So thank you for stopping in today, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.